Hey guys, and welcome to the fifth of the Finance Tracker Let's Code tutorials. So, I made a couple changes in this application. The first thing I noticed after our previous application was that the budget, for some reason, could be zero. I managed to miss that out, which was a bit ridiculous. So, in the setup page, all I've done is inside the bit of code that we already had, where we were detecting whether or not there was a number detected. I just added, if this bit here is if it's not a number, then it gives them a message, and then I've just done an else if on the end. So if it is a number, then it will skip this bit, but then it will turn the text box text into a double, all in that line there, and then it will check to see if it's less than or equal to 0, and if it is, then it will give them a little message saying you can't have that, basically, and use the return to basically end the code there and then and make them fix that problem. So that's the first bit we've done. The next part is basically on the request page. There was a lot of confusion that I ended up with in the end, because when I was adding or deducting numbers, depending on how people put them in, some people might not structure them properly, so they might put in 0.99 rather than 0.99, or they might put in 1.1 rather than 1.10. Or they might put like 10.8 or 1080, and we need to just basically know that we want to make it look good when they add the numbers. We want the numbers we don't want to have it deducting 0.99. We want it to be deducting 0.99, because that's just how you kind of structure numbers. So the bit of code that I did have in here originally is gone, because basically it sucked. It turned out it sucked because there was too many. By the time I did all the conditions, it would have been like 50,000 lines. Well, that might be an exaggeration, but there'll be quite a lot of lines. So I've changed it to something else, where basically the first thing we just do here is if it doesn't start with a 0, and the length is less than 1, so basically if it's a number like 0.99, because that doesn't start with 0, and the end of it here, and the start of it here on this side of the point, there is no number there at all, so there's like nothing. So not only does it not start with 0, but it is less than 1 on length, because there's nothing there, which means we have to add a 0 at the start, which would then turn that number into this number. So basically then what we would do is this one here, sorry I forgot to mention this bit, is if it was like 199, then it doesn't start with a 0, and you would think we're just going to add a 0 in front of it. That isn't going to look that good, so we're not doing that. All we're doing is if it doesn't start with a 0, but there is actually a number, if the length of it is less than 1, so basically here this is not less than 1, because there is a number here. This could be like 3, or it could be 6, or it could already be a 0. So because there is a number in this position, it won't add a 0 in front of it. It'll only do that if there is nothing on that side of the point. So then what we've got here is if the number doesn't end with a 0, and there is a number after the dot, like for example 1.1, then we want to add a 0 on the end of it. We want it to look like that, because that looks better. We don't want to just leave it as 1.1. So what we're doing here is we're just seeing if it ends with a 0, and if it doesn't end with a 0 and the length of the second half of the number is equal to 1, then we will know that we want it to effectively have a length of 2, so we'll add a 0 on the end of it. So that's all we're doing in this bit of code. And then down here, if there is nothing after the dot at all, for example 1 point nothing, then we need to add a couple zeros on the end of that. I can't remember if this bit of text does, this bit of code here does it, but that's just a kind of fail safe to make sure everything's going to work from that perspective. So that's that bit sorted. Then what we can do, what I've done in here is I'm going to add obviously these to the resources section of the student dev website. It'll be in the description as usual. I've added an extra image called 99px, and what you need to do is in the properties you've got the manifest. Inside here I've just changed the name, because obviously where I had mine called Finance App, that's what was in there, but we don't want it to say Finance App on the actual device, so I've changed mine to Finance Space Tracker, put a little description in here just for the hell of it. And then obviously uploaded my new icon, uploaded this one in here again and again. It will keep saying to you, if you basically do it and then you click it, it will be like, it already exists, do you want to replace it? Yes. It doesn't really matter, it just kind of allows you to assign it to all of the images. And then on the tile title, I took it off because I don't want anything, but this is basically what will be written just here in the tile section. I don't really want anything on mine, so I've left it, you know, like I say, with nothing on there. So what that would have given us is, in essence, a better looking application. So when you actually deploy it now, we'll go back, and as you can see, for starters, it's here, and then once you've clicked on it, I've already pinned it, so it's grey on mine. Once it's pinned here, we can kind of resize it, and it will give us, an image, however we have it. Now, something else I have added in here is basically, this is me just I'll just show you the 0. So if you hear that, it's invalid because there's a naught, there's nothing else in there. So if I add 01, it will take the O away and give me just $1. So what I've added at the bottom, as you can see here, is a reset budget / delete all data. And what that does is that basically allows the user to reset their application and reset their budget. So if you click it, it's like, are you sure you want to reset? All your data will be lost, okay, or cancel. So if you cancel, does nothing. If you click on it and press the back button, does nothing. But if you press OK, then it shuts basically all of the information out of the app, deletes all of it, and lets you start again. So if they then accidentally hit back at this point and go back in, it's just like having a fresh app. So it really doesn't matter, if they've done it that way, all that, everything can work again. We can add something. So let's take away 99p, but structure it incorrectly. I don't know, food. I love bringing food. So we're taking out 99p from the budget. We've got 0.01, so we've got 1 penny left. But then we think, oh wait, hang on, my budget was more than £1. I'm just going to reset my application and go back through and put the correct amount in, which was in fact £10. So now I have my £10 budget, and I can remove my 99p. I can structure it properly, and the app knows that I'm structuring it properly, and it will keep it nice and neat, keep all the numbers up here nice and good. Everything's like a penny, and you see your 10p's or your 10 cents, I don't know. So yeah, that's basically it. But let me just show you the code for the reset button. So that is obviously on the summary page. I've moved the the XAML about a little bit because obviously I had to make room for it. I've just used a hyperlink button, so it's a bit of text of an underline because a button would have been too bulky to get in there. So all I've done is added a reset budget button, and then set its click event. Obviously I've set its content to be reset budget delete all data, but then I've done a click event for it. And here in the click event, we've basically got the normal way that you display a message box is just basically this bit of code here, and you can set what button, if it's OK cancel, if it's just OK or whatever. And then if you set message box result before this, you can do if ms, which is referring to the message box result, equals, and then you can check if whatever they've pressed or whatever they've done from that message box, you can detect it. So we can see here, if OK is clicked, then it will remove all of the app settings information that we've set throughout the app. It will send them back to the main page, which would usually redirect them if setup complete existed, but because we've deleted that and we navigate them back here, we will stay on that page, and then we remove the back entry so that they can't come back to the summary page having gone to the main page. Then we have an else statement on the end here, which just stops them from basically destroying all of their data if they press anything else. So if they don't press OK, they can press back, they can exit the app, they can hit cancel, and it won't wipe their application information. So basically that is all that I've done in this one, because I think that's actually the end of it. I think that's the end of the finance app tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope the application works for you. If there's anything that you want to do to further your application or anything you have done, then definitely comment and let other people know what you're doing and how you've done it. So don't forget to subscribe, check out the Patreon page, and check out the resources, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter.